Hey, it's Vaz here from Aussie RC Playground and welcome to another unboxing. Today we're going to be looking at the Thunder Tiger Toyota Hilux 4x4 pickup truck. Now, unlike your traditional scale trucks that exist out there, this one is not 1/10 scale, it's actually 1/12 scale. And yes, it does come completely ready to run. The only thing you need to add are batteries for your remote, because it does actually come with a LiPo battery already in the truck, which is fantastic to see. Now, this is my only my second scale vehicle. The very first one that I had was almost 4 years ago now. I think it was in October 2013. I had an Axial SEX10 Honcho, which I kind of didn't mind. I enjoyed it, but ultimately I felt a bit out of my depth back then, and I ended up selling it before I even did a review on it, which I don't think it would have been very good anyway, because I don't know too much about these things. But of course my knowledge has grown quite a bit since then, and when this one popped up and I had the opportunity to review it, I really couldn't resist. I absolutely love the look of this truck. I think it's very cool. It looks very cool. I think also being from a company that doesn't traditionally do scale vehicles, I was really interested in it, and I wanted to see what Thunder Tiger have done, and whether or not this could be something that could be worth a few of you out there getting your hands on. So let's do a quick spin around of the box before we actually show you the product. So this is the top of the box, as you can see. Nothing much going on this side. On the back we have some specs, so you can pause the video now and read through all of those if you wish. Comes with a 2.4 GHz radio, has metal CVA shafts in the front, metal turnbuckles, threaded body chocks, and realistic scale tires and wheels, although I don't believe that these are licensed. On the other side here there are some dimensions, so again you can pause the video and go through those. And then on this side it just gives you the 3 color options available for this truck. And that is pretty much it as far as the box goes. So let's get rid of this guy and bring out the main event. Right, now that we've got everything out of the box, we can actually go through exactly what you get when you receive one of these. So you get a basic wall charger. This one came with a AU plug, which is handy. Charges only the 2S battery included, and I think it charges at about 1/2 amp or something like that. So this will take quite a while to charge up the battery, but the battery included isn't very big, so maybe it won't be as long as I think it would be. But we'll see. You know, at least it's a charger, and it'll get you going. Of course, you also get your user manuals, and there's a few other goodies in here as well. I've already cut this open because I've had to have a look at a few things. There's a CD in the box, and this one is actually the user manual for the radio, which is something that I don't usually see with the ready to run. So pretty cool that they've actually gone paperless and given us a disc, although the disc is still wrapped in paper, so kind of defeats the purpose. This is a basic Quickstart guide for the ESC, so this will set up your calibration and, you know, all your different settings and everything else. We have an extra battery strap, and I'll show you why they give you an extra one of these in a moment. There's also a bind plug in here should you need to rebind the radio for whatever reason. You got that option there. A couple of Allen keys to kind of let you work on the truck itself, and then of course you have the stickers. So they've actually given me some extra headlight stickers, which is interesting considering it's already got headlight stickers on there. But then of course you can decorate it however you want with all these extra stickers on there. I don't know if I'm going to leave mine pure black like that. I may put some extra ones on, I may not. We'll see how we go. Depends on the mood that I'm feeling, I guess. And then finally we have the user manual. Now this is actually not too bad. There's quite a fair bit of information in here. Obviously different part numbers, and then you've got exploded views and step-by-step sort of instructions on how to reassemble the truck and work on the truck. So if you break something or you need to service something, I'm pretty sure all the information that you need will be in there. Finally, we have the remote. This guy works on only 4 AA's. It's a fairly sort of standard looking remote. I think Thunder Tiger had the exact same one on the Bushmaster 8E, and behind this kind of semi-transparent door you have your standard reverse switches, so throttle and steering reverse switches, a bind button in the middle, steering trim, throttle trim, and a steering dual rate, and of course your on and off button is just there. So pretty standard run-of-the-mill remote, and should work just fine. I actually don't mind these remotes. I've had a few that look like this as well from a couple of other companies. Nice rubber wheel on here as well, and it just feels good in the hand. Decent remote. Now, finally, for the main event, which is of course the truck, and this is what this little guy looks like. Take note that there are holes in these lights here, and so you can actually put LEDs in these little light buckets, which is kind of cool. And I believe you can also do LEDs on the front bumper as well if you want to do that. So pretty cool that they've actually allowed for you to sort of expand on the truck and customize it a little bit to your liking, which is nice. I'll quickly take the body off here, and of course I've gone for the black one. I don't know why I wasn't a big fan of the red. It was either going to be the blue or the black, I thought. But then, you know what? The red kind of reminds me of the Top Gear truck that they had. So I could see a few people, you know, if you're talented enough to kind of give that a bit of a weathered look, and then, you know, it's been bashed around and beaten around, you can have a look at the Top Gear episode that happened quite a few years ago now. They took one of these in red and they absolutely beat the snot out of it. And yeah, I could see a few people sort of picking the red one for that purpose. But I've gone for the black, which a few people have actually said on my Facebook page, it looks a little bit like the Marty McFly truck that was in Back to the Future 1 and I think 2 as well. I don't think you get to see it in number 3. I can't remember, those movies are kind of old. But yeah, Marty McFly had this in those movies, or he dreamt about owning one of these in those movies. That's what he really wanted. But yeah, it kind of resembles that. Anyway, taking the body off, pretty straightforward body. It's actually got a bit of thickness to it. It's not as flimsy as you might think. And for a crawler truck, I'm actually impressed with the quality of the body. I think it looks fantastic. And of course, you know, you got the grille on here. Now, I could imagine that perhaps someone might go and start sort of adding light buckets into this. If you want to do some LEDs, you might even want to do the same on the back. Thundertiger haven't sort of given us provisions for that, but I know a lot of people are pretty creative out there, and you'll probably end up, you know, making something that would work. So, under that Marty McFly body, you see a fairly, what I think is a fairly traditional type of crawler design. So, being a 1/12 scale, this does not have your standard sort of 540 size motor. It's a fairly small motor in here. But it should be plenty to sort of, you know, move this guy around. You do have a steel frame chassis going all the way through. You've got 3 adjustment points for your shocks here on all 4 corners. You've got adjustable body posts as well. Receiver just there. Your ESC is a standard sort of 1/10 scale size ESC, and you have these little jumpers on here as well. This one is preset to, if I can read it, I think it's preset to have reverse, and obviously you have the LiPo on there. There's a little legend. You won't be able to see it properly on camera because it's kind of reflective, but in there, on the front of the ESC, there's a legend that tells you, you know, by moving these, so you can see that they're offset at the moment. If I move this one, pull that out and put it into the other one, then I've sort of changed, you know, into NIM mode or something like that, or I've taken reverse out of it. So you can do that very easily with these ESCs. That's how you kind of tune them. Deans or T-style connectors here for your battery and your ESC, and this is the battery that's included. So it's a 850 milliamp 2S LiPo, so fairly small basic battery, but as you'll notice, there's actually an extra slot for some more Velcro, which is why they give you the extra strip of Velcro. If you put a longer pack in here, you can actually strap it down properly. Or you could put it on anyway and move this battery all the way to the front to give the truck a little bit more nose weight. So when you're crawling, the truck doesn't really want to go back or do backflips on itself. It wants to keep the nose down. So that's one option, and that's why they've given you the extra battery strap. Antenna tube kind of runs along the side of the chassis here and is zip tied down. I wasn't quite sure if this is how it's supposed to be, but when you think about it, with crawlers, you're usually fairly close to them. This is not the type of vehicle that you race around an RC track and you're stationary in one spot. I've seen a lot of people with scalers, and you know, they tend to follow their trucks around. They're fairly close to them, so I don't really see the need to stand the antenna up. I think I'm going to leave it as it is. Just moving on to the back of the bumper here, you can see that the length is adjustable. Same with the front, you can adjust the length of it a little bit, although if you are going to shorten it, you're going to end up having to cut these posts because they're going to hit the servo. Servo is a standard sort of 1/10 scale, 1/8 scale size servo, and then as we flip it over and have a look underneath, it has a huge servo saver on there mounted to the servo. These here are all steel links, so you've got a steel link here, you have all steel links through here, which were your, what they were advertising on the box as being steel turnbuckles. So all of this has 4-link suspension, front and rear, and you have these sort of telescopic drive shafts, similar to what you'll find on, say, your ECX cars and your Traxxas vehicles and so forth. These designs have been around for quite some time, and even the Thunder Tiger Jackal that I've still got also has this type of design as well. Ball bearings that I can see just there, and looks as though, yeah, everything is running hex screws all the way around. These little side steps are also adjustable inwards and outwards, so you can also adjust the width of it a little bit. The only thing that's plastic as far as the links is actually this steering link here. This bottom one is actually plastic, and I think that's actually a good thing, because you do want to have a little bit of a give point. You don't want to put too much strain on a stock steering servo. Yes, I know it has a servo saver there already, but to have a little bit of a flex point here is probably not a terrible idea. Sure, if you update your servo or upgrade your servo and you want to do something in steel, I'm sure that there'll be something available at some point. If not from Thunder Tiger, this is probably a fairly standard length that you can probably replace with another brand. Now over there you can see your steel CVDs right in there, so very cool that comes with them included, so it'll be nice and strong. The pumpkins themselves, you can see fairly decent size, but not overly big. I must admit, not overly big. And everything just feels kind of nice. The tires actually feel really, really nice. They do have a foam inserts, but they seem pliable. Rubber seems perhaps like a medium soft, I would say. Not super soft, but medium soft. And you can see they've just written Thunder Tiger on the side there, so these aren't exactly a licensed tire tread, although they may look like something else, which I'm sure some of you will pick up. The shocks themselves, fairly standard sort of 10 scale size shocks, nothing too outrageous, plastic bodied, but they do have threaded bodies on them, so you can adjust the spring collars here very easily and adjust your spring tension accordingly. The only thing I will say is it doesn't feel like there's a lot of oil in these shocks, but at the same time, I think it kind of needs to be that way to allow the truck to have the articulation that it needs to have. Although I would have preferred something like maybe just an oil that allows the whole thing to work a little bit slower, just doesn't give it too much bounce the way that it is at the moment. So I may try a couple of different oils at some stage and see how I like it. But yeah, I think that's the main reason, is because it's so light. It's a 12 scale. You don't want to go putting huge thick oil in here, because it just make everything too stiff. But that, I think, is pretty much everything I got to say about this one. I mean, fairly standard layout. I like the adjustability. I like the fact that it already has some pretty nifty upgrades with the steel turnbuckles everywhere. Steel CVAs or CVDs in the front, as some people would call them. I like the adjustability of the bumpers, and you can adjust the ride height of your truck as well with the body posts and everything else. You've got a little bit of geometry adjustments on the shocks as well, so that gives you guys some flexibility there. I think it's a pretty good little sort of entry-level scaler, I guess, or crawler type vehicle. And for those of you who follow the channel, you know that I'm not the biggest scaler guy out there. I've only ever had one in the past, and this is my second one, but I just couldn't resist. I think it looks super good. I really, really like it. I think it's a very cool looking truck, and I wanted to give it a go. I wanted to give this whole scale thing another go, and I know that some of my viewers have kind of asked me to do this type of videos in the past, so I had the opportunity to do it, and I figured, hey, why not give it a try? Or give it another try, I should say. So that is pretty much it for this unboxing. If you have any questions regarding this truck, please be sure to leave them in the comment section down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And as always, check out the video description for more information on the truck, as well as a link to my Facebook page, as well as a link to my Instagram, because I am on Instagram now as well. And don't forget to check out Patreon if you want to help support the channel. That is it for me. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will speak to you next time.